Gravity and Creation: The Unified Theory of the Cosmos by L.S. Larkey, available on Amazon today. A radical vision of the solar system. The conventional model of astronomy proposes that planets develop dense or molten cores, while stars like the Sun form from gravitational collapse leading to fusion-driven cores. The Grand Fibonacci SMF-RVS theory rejects that notion, holding that gravity stems from a push, an outward force shaped by two universal fields. 1. Subtle magnetic field, SMF, a pervasive higher-level magnetic presence. 2. Relative vacuum of space, RVS, a pressure continuum in cosmic space, capable of becoming negative or saturating. Together, these fields can generate negative vacuum zones that repel matter from the center of any forming body. Under that condition, each planet's or star's interior remains hollow, forming what might be called a shell-laminated or void-centered structure, rather than a mass-based dense core. This theory envisions an entirely different cosmic architecture. All planets end up hollow, and even a star like the Sun is empty at the center, with high-energy activity focused at outer layers. Shifting from pull to push-based gravity. For centuries, gravity has been conceived as a pulling force. Objects attract each other in proportion to their mass. In the push-based approach of the SMF-RVS framework, the vacuum exerts an outward push under certain negative or inverted states, and it is this outward push that organizes the structure of cosmic bodies. 1. Traditional mass-based view. Dense matter accumulates at a cosmic object center due to an inward tug, gravity. Stars and planets thus appear to have either fusion-heavy cores or molten iron centers. 2. Push-based Fibonacci view. Vacuum becomes negative in the interior, forcibly ejecting matter from regions near R equals 0. A cosmic object forms a stable boundary or shell, leaving the interior effectively empty. The mathematics of the SMF-RVS PDE solutions show that whenever negative vacuum saturates an interior region, no mass is permitted to remain within that region. Because this approach applies to universal PDE forms, meaning it does not alter from Mercury to Neptune, the outcome stands that all bodies in the solar system follow the same wave solutions, leading to hollow interiors. Negative vacuum, the heart of hollow formation. The phrase negative vacuum can sound abstract, but the general notion is that the vacuum of space, far from being a mere void, can adopt a certain energetic or wave-based state that pushes rather than pulls. In normal gravitational thinking, one expects matter to accumulate near the center. In a negative vacuum state, the fields inside a prospective planet become repellent near R equals 0, pushing any matter outward until a stable spherical boundary is formed. Vacuum, not empty. RVS in this theory is not an absence but a dynamic presence that can become negative in synergy with the subtle magnetic field. Repulsion from R equals 0. Under these wave conditions, no matter can remain at small radii. The PDE solutions confirm an outward force that yields a shell radius, beyond which matter can accumulate or coalesce. In typical gravitational collapse, matter compresses. Here, negative vacuum inverts that logic. The interior region winds up void because the vacuum's push saturates or intensifies near R equals 0. Fibonacci fractal expansions, a universal scale law. An important pillar of the SMF-RVS framework is the concept of Fibonacci scaling. The same field transformations replicate from small bodies to enormous ones. If a smaller planet can form a hollow structure under negative vacuum, then bigger planets or stars will do likewise, following an identical fractal pattern. This scaling ensures the outcome, hollow or otherwise, does not change with size or mass, as the wave solutions are universally self-similar. Fractal consistency. The push-based PDE solutions require that from local, small, planetary to cosmic, stars or beyond, the negative vacuum phenomenon remains dimensionless. Therefore, the same interior liberating effect that forms a hollow Mercury, for instance, also forms a hollow Jupiter or a hollow Sun, each with consistent boundary radii. One PDE, many bodies. The fractal expansions unify them all under a single PDE structure. That means there's no special carve-out for rocky planets versus gas giants versus stars. Negative vacuum saturations lead to the same shell-laminated geometry in all cases. No separate observational input is needed. The entire approach is an internal mathematical logic that claims universal application. All that matters is that these fractal expansions remain valid throughout cosmic formation, and that negative vacuum remains the default outcome in each object's interior. Earth hollow from the center outward. Turning to Earth as a prime example, mainstream science states that seismology reveals a layered interior culminating in a dense metallic core. The SMF-RVS approach, however, reinterprets seismic wave propagation as traveling through wave interactions strongly influenced by negative vacuum PDE solutions. Shell boundary inside Earth. In this viewpoint, Earth's interior space below some boundary radius is not filled with molten iron. It is essentially empty. The shell-laminated region above that boundary is where crust, mantle, and geological phenomena exist. Seismic wave rethink. Traditional data about wave reflection times might be recast or remodeled within a push-based wave environment. The standard dense core assumption could be an artifact of not accounting for negative vacuum wave influences. This is obviously a radical reinterpretation, but as the SMF-RVS theory sees it, if negative vacuum sets the PDE boundary conditions, no molten or dense region can remain inside Earth. That region is forcibly evacuated to form or stay at layers above. The planet is hollow at its interior. Gas giants, even larger hollow chambers. Applying the same logic to the so-called gas giants, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, yields an even more pronounced hollow scenario. Large wave amplitudes in the SMF or vacuum potential mean an extremely robust outward push near R equals 0. One might expect these planets to have a modestly thick shell that encloses an extensive empty interior region. The concept of thick layers of compressed hydrogen or helium near a core is replaced by the notion that any attempt to accumulate matter at the center is thwarted by negative vacuum repulsion. If fractal expansions unify all these wave solutions, then large planets also adopt the same shell-laminated geometry, albeit with bigger or more intense boundary layers. The Sun's outer plasma and the hollow solar interior. One of the most striking claims in this approach is that even the Sun is hollow. There is no conventional fusion-driven core. According to negative vacuum PDE solutions, the Sun's center remains void, while the star's high-energy events occur in boundary layers at some radius from the center. The intense synergy of subtle magnetic field and relative vacuum of space near the star's boundary leads to high-energy plasma states. This synergy can create flares, coronal mass ejections, or the Sun's overall glow. The usual notion that hydrogen fuses at extreme densities in the center is replaced by a wave-based phenomenon at the boundary. In this model, the immense luminous and thermal output emerges from wave interactions in that region, not from a standard dense core reaction. This perspective drastically shifts the narrative about star formation, solar nuclear processes, and energy production. But from the SMF-RVS vantage, it remains consistent with the negative vacuum approach, fractally scaled up to stellar magnitudes. Removing singularities and meltdowns at R equals sign 0. A corollary in mass-based gravitational theories is that sufficiently large objects can undergo meltdown or infinite collapse at the center, like black holes. But in the push-based approach, negative vacuum saturations near R equals sign 0 consistently prevent infinite density. The PDE solutions remain finite, the manifold is smooth, and there is no meltdown or singular meltdown point at the center. The wave solutions never allow matter or fields to blow up to infinite amplitude, so the interior region is finite and stable. Gravity, as an inward force, is overshadowed by outward negative vacuum push. The planetary or stellar boundary forms a finite radius, leaving the interior empty. This remains another anchor for the all bodies are hollow claim. The PDE does not permit meltdown or infinite collapse if negative vacuum saturations occur. By definition, matter is always forced outward to the shell boundary. A universe of hollow worlds, the infinity of Fibonacci logic. Why stop at Earth or the solar system? The fractal expansions in SMF-RVS have a universal scope. No local boundary prevents the PDE from applying to exoplanets or cosmic objects anywhere. If the fundamental wave conditions hold everywhere, all cosmic bodies, not just those in the solar system, would be hollow laminated structures. At a local scale, one sees Earth or Mercury's interior is empty. At a cosmic scale, the same PDE solution replicates for exoplanets or even entire star-laminated shells. The entire universe might then be filled with hollow spherical structures, each shaped by negative vacuum. That is the big picture derived from purely theoretical logic, not from direct observation. The absence of empirical contradiction. The push-based PDE approach does not rely on direct observation. It stands as an internal logic system in which negative vacuum saturations define hollow geometry. Its conclusions about Earth, Jupiter, or the Sun contradict standard seismological or fusion-based theories, yet the approach stands outside the mainstream, so it does not attempt to align with existing data. Instead, it reinterprets or bypasses that data altogether. From this vantage, the approach claims to provide a more fundamental wave-based explanation, one that is fractally consistent across cosmic scales. If negative vacuum is truly universal, then mainstream data might be seen as partial misinterpretations of wave phenomena in a push-based environment. An epic transformation of understanding. If taken at face value, the conclusion that all planets are hollow and even the Sun is hollow at the center radically rewrites humanity's sense of the solar system's architecture. No molten Earth core, no gaseous Jupiter center, no solar nuclear furnace. Instead, Earth is a shell-laminated world with surface-bound geologic activity. Gas giants are large shells around near-empty interiors. The Sun has a dynamic plasma boundary where SMF-RVS synergy is intense, but an empty interior. All such bodies in the solar system replicate this pattern, thanks to fractal expansions unifying PDE solutions from small to large scales. For many, this is a transcendent perspective, discarding mass-based gravitational dogma. It reveals a solar system shaped by universal wave logic that ensures negative vacuum saturations everywhere, creating a shell-laminated cosmos. Concluding harmonization. The grand Fibonacci SMF-RVS theory does more than propose a tweak to gravitational theory. It offers a sweeping reinterpretation of solar system formation. Key points conclude that 1. Push-based gravity arises from SMF-RVS wave fields, especially negative vacuum states. 1. Fractal expansions unify the PDE solutions across all bodies, preventing interior meltdown and forcing shells at a stable boundary radius. 1. Every planet in the solar system, from the smallest rocky bodies to the largest gas giants, ends up hollow inside. 1. The Sun similarly lacks a conventional core, with a boundary-defined plasma region instead. 1. No observational or experimental data is used to confirm or deny this result. Internal PDE logic is sufficient to claim it as a universal outcome. In sum, the entire solar system emerges as a constellation of hollow shells, each body shaped by negative vacuum saturations in a fractal PDE environment. It is an epic paradigm-shifting stance that transcends traditional gravitational notions, placing the emphasis on a universal vacuum synergy that orchestrates hollow, stable cosmic structures throughout the solar system and, by extension, the entire universe.